Creep on in, on in, on in.
This is the movie Rum Diary with Johnny Depp. Watch they drop this gem about so-called black Americans in the movie.
Don't waste your time on those junkyard losers. This country was built on genocide and slavery. We killed all the black guys that were here, and then we shipped in new black guys of our own. And then we brought in Jesus like a bar of soap.
He said they killed off all the black people that was already here and then shipped in new black people. Oh my God. Hey, yo, shout out to all of my black Indians down there in Louisiana.
On Super Sunday, Bale Kudifayo, Indian. That's when the Indians come out. It's just the Indians. It's nothing but
no
Indians.
Floats to compete with.
Folks to compete with, just us.
Wow.
So you can stand there and watch all that beauty and pageantry that comes in front of your face. Watch years of resistance that's manifested in creativity. So that act of masking Indian is actually an act of defiance.
Wow.
Because you're saying, during my time when I couldn't go on Canal Street, couldn't drink at your water fountain, couldn't go in Woolworth, I'm a chief. I'm a queen.
Oh man, that's beautiful, man. Shout out to all of my Indians down in Louisiana. Indigenous comes in all colors and features. Watch this.
Chief Howell, if someone looked at you right now, they would say that you were African American, would they not? Now, your grandfather, though, was supposed to have been, according to records.
Well, he was.
Oh, he was the last. Well, no, but according to, he wasn't the last
right,
of
exactly,
the Nottoway,
exactly.
of the Cherahaka Nottoway tribe, though.
Right.
Tell us about him.
And he was kind of a quiet man. He didn't hardly say anything. And now it's coming clear as why he was so quiet, because what happened to his people. He never had much to say. Mm-hmm. And it's coming pretty clear to me as why he was so quiet.
Because at that time, they did not talk about being Indians because
right.
you could be jailed, correct?
Exactly.
Right.
At that time, you could be jailed for saying you were Indian. This 90s cartoon just told a whole lot of truth about black Americans.
You know, I think you're not supposed to say Indian either.
No way, really?
Yeah. I think you're supposed to call them African Americans.
For them to use African Americans and Indians interchangeably shows you they know we come from indigenous roots. These are black tribes in America before Columbus.
They went out to what is now known as Oceania and became a people known as the Negritos. And they also went towards Mexico and impacted this Olmec civilization. And the reason why we now know that is because there was a genetic trace done. You know about DNA now. That's getting a lot of play in the paper. DNA means you can trace the genetic code of a people. The genetic code of the... And there are still native blacks in Mexico. That's never been explained by archaeologists before Columbus arrived. DNA tests done on them. DNA tests done on the bones of some of the Olmec people, not all of them, the ancient remains, show a definite genetic trace, not to Africa only.
DNA tests show that these were black people in America before Columbus. Our people are the only ones that accept that African American term.
No, you weren't colored.
I remember when we became African Americans, because I worked in the black marketing department at Coca-Cola, where we were selling Coke to our people. And the vice president came in and said, okay, we are now African Americans. We were like, all righty, African.
How you spell that again?
Right.
Is it two ways?
And I heard this white woman was sitting next to me, and she said to another white woman, they don't know who they are.
Wow.
That's what I said. And I'm gonna take my wig off, and I'll be honest, I did not know what to say to her.
Listen, y'all better study. If more celebrities actually start speaking out about this truth will get out way faster.
The most offensive thing somebody could tell me is that I'm black. 'Cause that's not what I am. I don't subscribe to that indoctrination.
What do you subscribe to?
I mean, African people come from Africa. So Chinese people come from China. Ain't no continent called black.
Yeah.
Like, we are the indigenous people to this land. Like, this land, the pyramids here are hundreds of years older than the pyramids in Egypt. This was the new world to the people that just came over here. We was always here.
Yo, we had the oldest DNA in America, the oldest pyramids in America, the oldest mummies come from America. We always been here. My Latino brother tells the truth about Black Americans. Watch this.
How the blacks here, the original Indians, they got overthrown, right? They even put some of them into slavery. Yet none of them now are getting any sort of land. Like, this is one of the biggest secrets in history, man. And if you don't believe me, that the original or the Aboriginal Negro here, okay, the Black Indian, that's not legit. Look at the Olmecs. Look at the Olmec heads, dude. Look at the Olmec heads. There's braids on the head, dude. Obviously, that is a black person. There's a fro on that.
It's only so long that you can hide the truth. I love this sister Jane Elliott because she always speaking that real.
Believing the myth. In this country, what we call education is actually indoctrination. And it takes us from the ages of 5 to the age of 18 to thoroughly indoctrinate people so that they will believe in the myth of white superiority. And it is a myth.
Right.
Now, you can't do that while you're teaching that Columbus discovered America.
Right.
There were black people on this continent 4,000 years before Columbus was born.
Right.
Like it or not, our people have always been in America. Finally, our people are waking up. Watch this.
I'm American Indian, Choctaw and Seminole. My mother's side was Choctaw, father's side is Seminole.
Represent my city, which is definitely a part of here. I'm definitely a native, a true Native American. You know, paternal and maternal sides is Cherokee. So yeah, for like America for real. But that's not to America.
Listen, we never went nowhere. We just fell asleep.
All right, let me get a 1 in the chat if you can hear me loud, crisp, and clear, and we will get this party started. There's a great YouTuber that's really been blazing the trail when it comes to producing content on indigenous Black Native lineage. His channel is called The Research Guy. The Research Guy. So what I want to do here is react to some videos live with you from The Research Guy. He's really done a lot of the heavy lifting when it comes to conducting this research, reading through many different articles and manuscripts. And also, if anybody wants to call in and weigh in on what they believe their lineage is. Do you believe you come from Africa? Do you believe you were indigenous? What story has your people told you? I mean, are you like me who has indigenous and African roots? Are you someone who totally delineates from the African heritage, or someone that's in between? But ladies and gentlemen, this is an open panel discussion tonight, so feel free to hit the link and call in. But let's get on with the content. Before we do, smash that like button on the way in and hit the Cash App or the PayPal if you support the mission. I thank you in advance. Let's go.
All right, y'all. So today we're going to be going into part 2 on who were the first Americans. Let's get further into the debate. So we're going to be reading from this book called African American Heritage by David T. Adamo. There was also several relief figures on large stone slab. Most of these over 40 figures.
And actually, before we get into doing some reading, let me go ahead and slow that down and run that back one time. So this book is African American Heritage, and he's going to say what the name of the author is again. Hold on just a moment.
This book called African American Heritage by David T. Adamo.
African American Heritage by David T. Adamo. And before we get into some reading, we already have our first live caller. Caller, where are you calling in from?
African American Heritage by David.
Oh, you know what? It sounds like you've got the YouTube video playing in the background. If you can go ahead and pause the YouTube video so there's not double feedback.
Yeah,
Yeah, so you got to go ahead and pause that video playing. All right, let's see if he's ready now. All right, where are you calling from?
What's up, fam? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hey, man. Oh, what's going on, man? This is, I guess they call me Juice, man. Yo, I really appreciate this topic here because I feel like it's not really being talked.
Okay, wait, hold on. Let's slow down, caller. The first question was, where are you calling in from?
Sorry, I'm calling from Toronto.
From Toronto, okay. Now
Yeah,
you've
I'm
got
calling
the
from
floor.
Toronto.
Go ahead and let us know what you think about the topic.
I think it's amazing. And the thing is that I don't think that enough people talk about this. And I think that it's something that really needs to be stressed. So I was actually doing some research about, I'm actually constantly doing research all across the world about native populations and the Black diaspora. So the funny thing to me is when it comes to this topic of Black natives in the Americas is that the white man basically went over to Australia, seen Black people there, but still want to deny the fact that there's melanated people over here in the Americas. I find it quite amazing that they have this denial thing going on. It's amazing to me. It's amazing. But when you look at how history is taught to us, there is that constant stream of this denial. Can you hear me, bro?
Yep, I can hear you. You said there's a
Okay.
constant stream of denial. Yep.
Right. So the thing is that I think that now it's a good time for us as Black people to explore these territories and bring these things to light, because a lot of people don't know about these things. And a lot of us are not talking enough about these things. Like, for example, I was reading today about Estevanico the Moor, who was over here in the early 1500s exploring the Americas. And I believe he went from Florida over to almost California exploring. But this is in the 1500s. This is like, this is not too far. It's definitely around, it might have been before Christopher Columbus, but people don't know these things. So my thing is that I think that we as people, we need to bring these things to light, and we need to be talking about these things, discussing these things. And the more that we understand that we as Black people all across the globe have been tricked, and we've been sold these stories that we were this and we were that, when we need to tell our own stories. My main thing is that I don't.
And real quick, caller, I got to get on with the content. So if you can give us some closing remarks.
Sure. My closing remark is that I appreciate the work that you're doing here, and I wish that more of us would be on the same tip. So peace to you, bro. Respect.
Facts. Till next time. Talk to you soon, brother. Let's continue with the content, y'all. Facts. The caller spoke nothing but facts. More people need to discuss the hidden history of our lineage.
There's also several relief figures on large stone slab. Most of these, over 40 figures, were Africans. And what they're talking about is the pre-Columbian stone slabs that they found in the Americas. All right, that's what they're talking about right now. It says, some seem to be dancing or swimming. Some other remarkable archaeological evidence includes the realistic portraits of Africans in clay, gold, and stone unearthed in pre-Columbian strata in Central and South America. The practice of mummification, which was prevalent in Africa, was also found in ancient Mexico. So they found the same mummification style.
Same mummification style. And we ain't even talking about the fact that they found Egyptian hieroglyphs and settlements in the Grand Canyon. So come on, Africans were the first to circumnavigate the globe. If you want to say we all came from Africa, goddammit, some of us came from Africa long before chattel slavery. But we've got some people asking questions in the chat. This is a call-in show. This is an open panel discussion. If you have a question of Mike, click the link and call in. Let's go.
In Mexico that they found in Africa, and that's why they tried to say that the first Americans were Africans. That's why people come up with that term. America is the oldest continent. That's just bottom line. So anytime you find something in the Americas, in Africa, those are Americans that took it to Africa, not the other way around. See, that's the trick bag that they put us in, making us think it came from Africa.
Okay, the brother's giving us something to chew on right there. He's saying that the Americas are actually older than the continent of Africa, and it wasn't that Africans came and started coming to America that early. It's just that it was a reverse migration. There was black folk coming from the Americas to the continent of Africa and bringing with them some of their heritage. All right, let's see.
No, it came to Africa from the Americas. One of the best examples of this is the mummies in the sarcophagus of Palenque, with jade masks on their faces and a flared base of the sarcophagus. These features remain as further evidence of the American and African contact in the pre-Columbian America. This evidence of mummification is not limited to South and Central America. It is a practice widespread in North America. It was found among the Indian tribes of Virginia, North Carolina, and Congarese of South Carolina, and those of Florida. You see that? So they said the same practice that they found of mummification on these Africans was the same ones used by these American Indian tribes.
So through the research, we find that the same mummification used by African tribes are also being used by Native American tribes. And he's saying it wasn't that Africans came from Africa and did trade or did commerce or, migrated to the Americas. It's that the reverse happened. Okay. All right. He's dropping some receipts too. Let's see.
All right. You got to know that, like I said, you need to know all this history. See, all these scholars already know that so-called African Americans was already in the Americas in ancient times. They know this already. It's all in the books. But watch this. The fact that tradition is treated as the last evidence for the pre-Columbian presence of the African American ancestors in America before Columbus by no means suggests that tradition, written or oral, is less important. In fact, oral tradition among the ancient people is the most important vehicle of communication and instruction. This is especially true among the people of the ancient Near East and also among the ancient Amerindians. Nicholas Leon, who is considered one of the eminent Mexican authorities, tell us about Amerindian oral traditions. According to him, one of the Native American traditions hold that the oldest inhabitants of Mexico were Negroes.
Damn. So Native American folklore cites that the oldest inhabitants of Mexico are Negroes, ladies and gentlemen, are Negroes. And it's very interesting that early European settlers and even Europeans abroad back in the day, they depicted American Indians a certain kind of way. I mean, let's just call a spade here. When these Europeans back in the day are depicting America and depicting American Indians, these don't look like no Pocahontas folks to me. These don't look like no Disney illusion movies to me. This look like some black folks. God damn. Them Europeans were real candid with what they saw, with their depictions of the native Aboriginal people of America. Oh Lord, oh Lord. Why do we have these depictions going back hundreds of years? Hundreds of years. Come on. Let's talk about it.
See that? According to the Native American traditions, they're the ones saying it. Nearly all the races of our soil commonly believe the existence of Negro and giants, and in their various languages, they had words to designate them. Several archaeological objects found in various localities demonstrate their existence, the most notable of which is the colossal granite head of Veracruz and an axe of the same located near the city. In Teotihuaca abound little heads of the Ethiopian types and paintings of African American ancestors. In Macauacan and Osaka, the same have been found. You see that? So they even, listen, all of these scholars know. All of these scholars know. And it's just now coming out. And it's sad that we even have to do this. And when they use terms like Africans,
come on, talk about it. It wasn't until the 1980s that they reclassified us as African American. We went from Aboriginal to Indian to Negro, Negress, Octamaroon, mulatto, colored, black, African American. All right, the misclassification continues. But we've got a new caller coming from the back to the front. Is Rob Noxious. Rob Noxious, where are you calling in from?
Detroit.
All right. And are you a foundational Black American, or what's your
Nope.
background?
Just an American, Caucasian.
Okay. So when you say Caucasian American, do you know where your people originally migrated from? What part of Europe?
Ireland.
Okay, Ireland.
And Lithuania and some German.
Ireland and Lithuania. You know what? For some reason, I can't remember where Lithuania is located. But yeah, you've got the floor. Go ahead and let us know what you think about the topic at hand.
Oh yeah, I argue this topic a lot on other places. I just have first time I seen you up on here talking about it, and I just was wondering, do you have any actual scientific data that supports that your people are native to the continent of the Americas?
Well, first I'm going to answer your question, and then I'm going to address the first statement you made. As far as scientific data, this is a live reaction broadcast where I'm reacting to research done by a gentleman called the Research Guy. So we're literally learning about this information in particular for the first time and reviewing his sources in real time. The statement I want to address, though, is you said that you listen to a lot of spaces like this and you call in and speak about this discussion often. Is that right?
Yeah. Oh, that's
Okay.
right. I think we had the conversation before. You're actually not into this. You're just like a reporter. You kind of report on these things.
Well, I mean,
or do you claim to be an Aboriginal American?
I mean, I don't simply claim to be an Aboriginal American. I actually also have federal tribal citizenship by a federally recognized tribe. So I claim it, and I also have it backed with sovereign citizenship.
Is your tribe in the dog?
Slow down, sir. Slow down. Slow down. What I was trying to understand was your first statement. It sounded like you said that you frequent a lot of shows that discuss this topic a lot. This is a topic that you frequently discuss, right?
Yeah. Yep. Aboriginal
So,
Americans. Yep.
help me understand. I understand, you're an American after all, but as a Caucasian American, why does Native American history interest you so much? I'm curious.
Well, I stumbled upon this topic when I was on another channel. They were talking about other different pseudo topics, and this one came up, and I found it interesting. And then when I went and listened, I kind of just found myself getting angry that I was really seeing what was happening, and what was I seeing was the stealing of another person's culture and trying to replace.
Well, sir, before we get into your theories and your emotions of anger, um, the question I asked is, what interest does a Caucasian American have in frequenting spaces that discuss Native American lineage? Sir, do you claim to have any Native American lineage, or do you acknowledge that all of your ancestors were immigrants at one point?
I have no Native American lineage. Yeah, and all
Okay.
my ancestors came to America from somewhere else. Yep.
So help us understand how this becomes a topic you're interested in. And I'm not, trying to shame you or anything. I'm honestly just trying to learn from
Oh
you.
no,
I mean,
I've had this
some
conversation. I
people
have
are
this.
into,
Yep.
yeah, no, some people are into welding. Some people are into
Yeah.
water polo. I mean, people have many different interests. It's just interesting that a Caucasian American has Native American history as one of his pastimes.
Yeah. Well, you keep saying Native American history, but I don't think it's that. But the
If you
reason I
don't
do
think
it is
it's Native
because
American history, then what do you think it is?
it's African American history.
You think what we're discussing right now is not Native American history, it's African American history?
No, you guys are African Americans talking about Native American history and trying to claim it as your own.
Yet I'm a card-carrying member of a tribe and also have African lineage. So, sir, just me living and breathing makes your point non-valid.
Well, Aboriginals and Indians aren't the same thing. That's why I asked you from the beginning: do you claim to be Aboriginal or do you claim to be an Indian, a Native American, whatever you want to call them?
Well, sir, educate us. You're saying that Aboriginal and Native American mean two different things. So, what is the definition of Native American to you, and what is the definition of Aboriginal to you?
The Native American people are the people that were first here. That came.
And
I'm sorry,
how
that
is
came
that
here. That
different
came. That
from the
came
word
here first.
Aboriginal? How is that different from the word Aboriginal? Go ahead.
Aboriginal means being of the land, from the land. They're not from the land. They're not of the. They're not by the land. They came here.
So, how long do you think someone has to live in a landmass for them to be of the land? How many generations of them have to be born on the same landmass for them to be classified as of the land?
That's not how it works. You know, you are what you are. You are where you're from.
Sir, do you acknowledge that Aboriginal people exist on planet Earth? Yes or no?
Yeah, in Australia, yes.
So, you think only in Australia is where Aboriginal people exist on planet Earth?
For the sake of the argument we're having, yes.
Okay. And how long did those Aboriginal Australians have to live in Australia for you to consider them Aboriginal?
They're from there. That's where their story starts. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, there's theories out there that say everybody's from Africa. So technically, they would have actually have migrated to Africa eons and eons
Yeah.
ago. So
Yeah, I'm fully
what
aware
are
of
you talking about exactly?
I'm fully aware of the out of Africa theory, and the out of Africa theory does not state that every single form of human being came from Africa. It simply states that the modern Homo sapien, that's where that originated from. But there was other type of humanoids and hominoids around the planet at the time.
Sir, were your people Aboriginal to Europe?
No.
And who are the Aboriginal people of Europe?
The word Aboriginal was made up for the Australian people. It's a distinct name for a
Oh
distinct people.
Lord, we've got the plebiscite babble, y'all. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Roman Coliseum rules are in effect. If you want us to kick our resident Mayo ambassador, go ahead and throw 5 on the Cash App or the PayPal. Otherwise, we'll let him rock out. Sir, I understand you have a weird fetish with Native American and Black history. I understand for some reason you think you have a dog in the fight and you think your opinion is valid. Maybe you can enlighten us, sir. What vested interest do you have in discussing our culture and history?
Yeah, well, I find it funny that you say, why do you have any?
I didn't ask you what you found funny, boy. I asked you specifically, what vested interest do you have in discussing our culture and our history? Go ahead. Vested interest. You've got it.
Vested interest in investigating all history and human history, which encompasses all of us.
Oh, so you're just a scholar. You're just a modern day historian. You're just running around Indiana Jones in it with a whip, going through all the caverns and shit, just learning about world history, huh?
Yeah, that sounds good to me. I like Indiana Jones.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah,
you
I
grew up watching Indiana Jones flicks. I'm sure.
I'm sure.
Yeah, Keyshawn, make it make sense. His first reaction is to get pissed off. I get pissed off when I hear you black folks saying you're Aboriginal and there's no such thing as Aboriginals. Aboriginals are only in Australia and blah 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 blah. Lord, I kind of like the way you babble, so
Well, I
babble
didn't
for us
say
a
it like
little bit
that. I
more.
said I had a problem with you with a certain group of people. Okay, I didn't say all or anybody, and I didn't
And
generalize
why do
anybody.
you
I
have a
said a
problem with a
certain group
certain
of
group of
people.
people, sir?
Well, because they're like I said, they're literally trying to say that the Native Americans that we call Indians, okay, that we all grew up calling Indians or Native Americans, that they were brought in.
Guys, can somebody please hit the Cash App or the PayPal so we can get this babbling idiot out of here and continue with the content? I beg of thee. I beg of thee. We're gonna let him rock out unless somebody hits that PayPal or Cash App to get him up out of here, because this is a platform for all, no matter what shade, religious affiliation, gender, sexual orientation, or level of IQ. This is a platform for all.
I appreciate your patience.
So what do you think is the true history of Native Americans then? Go ahead and give us your thesis.
Well, what we call Native Americans, the copper-colored people, the true copper-colored people, Native Americans, came from Asia. That has been the debate is over on that. Until you find something that goes against the scientific facts that we have, you have nothing. There's no evidence that the transatlantic slave.
Sir, you're saying that there is scientific evidence that Native Americans come from Asia, right? So cite your sources.
My sources is the DNA that has been taken from over 1,500 people or 1,500 tribes.
Sir, a source would be, hey, I read that in this book. Hey, this scholar said that. Hey, it was this thought leader that promoted this theory and backed it with said sources and evidence. Sir, it's just no. We know that what you're talking about is utter bullshit because certain Native American tribes were reclassified as Negro. So how would a tribe of Asian folks, how would a tribe of Native American Asian folks be mistaken for Negroes, sir? Oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord. Sir, how were some Native American tribes reclassified as Negroes if they're Asians?
They never were. And you're
Whoa,
taking.
whoa. You think that there was never Native American tribes reclassified as Negro? Because I can just do some typing real quick. See how easy it is to cite your sources and, show some evidence to the court of public opinion. Come on, y'all. Come on. This man's literally just said that there were no Native American tribes reclassified as Negroes. Oh, good God. Ooh, good God. Mm. Oh, you know what? We just had some contributions come through. God damn it, guys. Should I kick him? Or should I keep looking for this receipt real quick? Should we take the time educating him? I mean, it is charity after all. It's not like he's hitting the Cash App to get this free education. I mean, come on. Come on. Let me see here. Here we go. And it was Walter Plecker's racial reclassifying era. That's what it was called. Walter Plecker race reclassifying. Come on, y'all. All right. Sir, you said that there were no Native Americans reclassified as Negro, right?
Nope.
All right. So right here it says Walter Plecker. Again, they call it a Walter Plecker reclassification error, or excuse me, not error, but era,
I
because
know
it
all about this guy. Go ahead.
classification. And it says here that Plecker ordered state agencies to reclassify most citizens who claimed American Indian identity as colored. So if you already know this, and if you know colored was also a term that was given to the same people who were then rebranded as Negro, the same people who were then rebranded as Black or African American, then how are you claiming that there's no Native Americans that were reclassified if this literally says Walter Plecker reclassified Native Americans? I'm confused.
Because it says Walter Plecker reclassified these things himself. Why don't you look up any historical?
Sir, although many Virginian Native Americans continue to live in their communities and maintain their tribal practices, church records, for instance, continue to identify them as Native Americans. But Walter Plecker was trying to reclassify them as colored. Okay. Okay, Walter
Yeah,
Plecker.
because they were mixed. They were mixed
Virginian
tribes, man. They're
Indians were
mixed
no
tribes.
longer. Hold on, sir. Wait your turn. Wait your turn. It's okay. We're educating you for the free. We're doing the Lord's work. You say that you love history and you're just so interested in world history and yada yada yada. Come on, y'all. Come on. Damn, we got the documents. Oh, I hope that we can get it a little less blurry than this so we can read it. Damn. I hear download in high resolution. Is that what I got to do? Do I have to download it in high resolution, y'all? Because I'll do it. If that's what it takes. I'm the king of receipts, and sometimes I pull these receipts up on the fly. Straight off the top of the dome. No forewarning. These receipts are going to come to light, y'all. Let's go. Let's take a little look. Let's take a little look. Damn, is that going to be big enough for me to read? Hold on, y'all. I think I got a way. I think I got a way to highlight this, make it bigger. Here we go. Here we go. Let's do some reading. Reading is fundamental, isn't it, y'all? Reading is oh so fundamental. And actually, I'll share it in a different way so that you guys can read along with me if you so choose to. Come on, y'all. Let's get to it. Mans is up here babbling like a buffoon. There is no such thing as Native Americans being reclassified, even though we're reading about Pleckard reclassifying Native Americans. All right, sir. All right. Let's do some reading. As I bring receipts to the court of public opinion, and all you bring are theories and personal emotions. To local registrars, clerks, legislators, and others responsible for and interested in the prevention of racial intermixture. Damn! So he was doing the reclassification because he was afraid that we was going to do some race mixing. Okay. Okay. In our January 1943 annual letter to local registrars and clerks of courts with lists of mixed surnames, we called attention to the greatly increased effort and arrogant demands now being made for classification as whites, or at least for recognition as Indians, as a preliminary step to admission into the white race by marriage of groups of the descendants of the free Negroes, so designation before 1865 to distinguish them from slaves. Damn. Damn. Come on, y'all. They talking about reclassification because they're saying that there was Negroes, there was freedmen, as well as Indians who were marrying with white folks. And they were afraid that this intermixture would allow their descendants to be classified as whites. Okay. Okay. It says here, according to Mendel's law of hereditary, 1 out of 4 of a family of mixed breeds, through the introduction of illegitimate white blood, is now so near white in appearance as to lead him to proclaim himself as such and demand admission into white schools. Oh, this is what the reclassification was about, y'all. This is what it was about. He said 1 out of 4 of a family of mixed breeds is white passing. Basically. Sergeant King says, what document is this, Mike? This is a document from Walter Plecker. He's asserting that Virginian Indians no longer exist, and he wrote this to local registrars, clerks, and legislators. Damn, y'all, them white folks was afraid that there was some mixing going on. It would lead to them proclaiming themselves as such and demand admission into white schools forbidden by the state constitution. The other 3 find it more difficult to make the grade. Damn, he's saying if there's a family of 4 mixed breeds, one of them could pass for white, the other one's, they light skinned, but we can still tell they're colored. As a climax of their ambition, colored people of this type are applying for licenses to marry whites, or for white licenses when intermarrying amongst themselves. These they frequently secure with ease when they apply in a county or city not the home of the woman and are met by a clerk or deputy who justifies himself in accepting a casual affidavit as the truth and in issuing a license to any applicant, regardless of the requirement of the section 5099A, paragraph 4 of the code. This section places the proof upon the applicants, not upon the clerks. We have learned that affidavits cannot always be accepted as truth. This loose practice, to state it mildly, of a few clerks is now the greatest obstacle in the way of the proper registration by race required of the state registrar of vital statistics in that section. Local registrars, who are supposed to know the people of their registration areas, of course, have no excuse for not catching false registration of births and deaths. Oh Lord, they was mad that some mixed breeds was passing for whites and getting white licenses and going to white schools. Oh boy, let's read where the natives come into this. And actually, before we do, we just had a contribution come through. Broken Arrow, thank you for the contribution. I appreciate your support. Let me go ahead and drop a bomb for you. Just a moment. Oh, that was a terrible bomb. Ken, thank you for the support. Appreciate you, brother. Because 410, thank you for the support. Appreciate you. On with the content, y'all. Let's get on with the content. Come on. Let's see. Where did we leave off? Here we go. So it says here. Oh no, we went down quite a bit. Here we go. In many cases, Negroids have white marriage certificates, while the Bureau demands correct legal registration as to the race when their children's births are reported. Armed with the clerk's marriage certificate, they leave home and easily pass as white, when a birth certificate with the pedigree on the back is not required. They are even threatening legal action against the state registrar, but have difficulty in securing a lawyer if he first applies to the Bureau of Vital Statistics for the facts. The Virginia Bureau of Vital Statistics, through the exceptional, painstaking, and laborious work of the highly trained genealogists whom it is fortunate in having, has made a study by groups and families of the principal borderline aspirants for racial change. The chief sources of information are the early birth and death records made by tax assessors from 1853 to 1896, marriage records from 1853 to date, United States Census reports from 1830, 1850, and 1870, especially printed lists of free Negroes by counties from the 1830 census, county taxpayer lists by races, now in the state library, which have been studied back to 1808 and not at least value their own proclamation of race made by applicants for registration as voters, made soon after the war between the states, to United States military authorities, now preserved in the state library. The progenitors of the present would-be whites then marched up to voluntarily and registered for the first time in the life of their race in Virginia as Negro voters, not as Indians, not as whites. All right, y'all, let's do some reading. It says here, public records in the Office of the Bureau of Vital Statistics and in the State Library indicate that there does not exist today a descendant of Virginia ancestors claiming to be an Indian who was unmixed with Negro blood. Damn. How is that possible? So are we supposed to believe them that there is not a single Native American in Virginia not mixed with Negro blood? How is it possible for, playing devil's advocate, how is it possible for recently freed slaves to mix with a Virginia tribe to the extent that every single one of them is now mixed? Or is it the fact that the Virginia tribe were dark-skinned, melanated aboriginals and they wanted to reclassify them as such? Oh Lord, let's do some reading. We've got some more. We've got some more. It says, there does not exist today a descendant of Virginia ancestors claiming to be an Indian who is unmixed with Negro blood. Since our more complete investigation of all of these records and the statements, mostly signed, of numerous trustworthy old citizens, many now dead, all preserved in our racial integrity file. So we're supposed to believe their word for it when they say that they have some writing from some dead person to attest to their claim. Take our word for it. These people is dead now, but we have their files in our integrity files, and they say they're trustworthy old citizens, and they are saying that all of these natives in Virginia are mixed with Negro. All right, makes a whole lot of sense, or does it? If such evidence exists, our research worker would have found it. Oh yeah, sure they would have. One weak point, which is giving us endless trouble, is the fact that many birth certificates since 1912 have, without realization of future danger, been accepted with false registration as Indian. Oh, so he wants us to take his word for it that they spoke to a bunch of dead folks and have their statements that prove that all the Virginian natives are mixed with Negro. But also he's saying, hey, it's also hard for us to say this is so because so many of them have birth certificates since the early 1900s that list them as Indian. And this man is now trying to claim that all these folks with birth certificates listing them as Indian, it was false registration. Good Lord, Mr. Plecker, what year was this? What year? 1943 was the year that he was making this letter. Sir, you weren't even around 30 years ago like that to know what birth certificates were false registered and what were correctly registered. Oh Lord, the splaining. The I'm white and I'm say so, y'all. The I'm white and I'm say so. Many birth certificates since 1912 have, without realization of future danger, been accepted with false registration as Indian. Not a few, guys, when we were off our guard, have slipped by as white. The General Assembly should empower us to state the recorded pedigree on the backs of such certificates and transcripts to protect those desiring the truth now and in the future. Oh my God, William Plecker, State Registrar of Vital Statistics. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, on one hand, he wants us to believe that every single Native American in Virginia got mixed in with Negroes somehow. I would say they were already a mixed people or were already a melanated people. But also he's trying to say, hey, all these Negroid people with birth certificates stemming from the 1900s saying they're Indian, oh, those are false registered birth certificates. All right. Boy, oh boy. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, our charity education lesson for our Mayo ambassador has ended. People have obviously given contributions to get him up out of here. But hey, him coming up here was a net positive because it enlightened us. It allowed us to further dive into the research, to actually read the letter that this man wrote to all the state census people back in the 1940s and to see firsthand what kind of fuck shit they were on. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is crazy, y'all. This is crazy. Let's continue with the content. Let's go, y'all. Let's go.
Pre-Columbian Africans. They're using technicalities when they're saying that. They're using technicalities. What they should be saying is these so-called African Americans. That's what they should be saying. So when you see words like African and Ethiopian, just understand that they're talking about our ancestors. The pre-Columbian blacks, which the Mongoloid Americans refer to and enshrine in their oral traditions, were certainly not themselves, but an unusual outsider, in most cases an object of mystery and reverence, and moreover, a figure who began to feature prominently in their world in historic time, that is, from the Olmec civilization onward. You see that? They said that these Negroes been here since the Olmec civilization onward. It says here, it is important to note that the references to giants correspond to Amerigo Vespucci's strange race of tall men sighted on a Caribbean island. You see that? So they was in the Caribbean, they had giants. All right. It says with Frederick Poe, Vespucci's biographer, believes were black men. This reference to giants in the Amerindian tradition also corresponds to Herodotus, father of history, description of the Africans as the tallest men in the world. So this is not just some, see, that's another thing too. They think we just make up history. This is not something we're just making up. Everybody thought this already. Everybody had this.
Y'all, thanks to the hateful Caucasian, we got a great history lesson, y'all. Come on. Come on, y'all. Let's go. Let's go. He certainly made a spectacle of himself. Come on. There were never any natives that were reclassified. Oh, wait, you're showing evidence? Well, see, what had happened was
Understanding that black people were in the Americas in ancient times. We've always been here. Everybody have known that we've been here. But why do they want to hide it from the so-called African American? Power purposes. If you knew who you were, you could walk with your head held high, and you will have a lineage to trace, and that will give you power. When people know where they come from and they know their lineage and they know their background, they are more powerful. So they got to keep putting out 12 Years a Slave and Roots and Django and all these different movies to make us think we're less than. In light of the foregoing evidence of the pre-Columbian presence of African Americans, one wonders upon what basis Columbus is hailed as the discoverer of America, what may appear to be the reason of the lack of adequate knowledge of the African American ancestors. If so, then now that is the evidence is available to the public, there should be a re-examination of such false historical information in the name of objective scholarship.
You know, we had a cash app come through from Manzit. Appreciate the support. Manzit said, get him, Mike. Yeah, we got him up out of here. Let's go.
It is important to re-examine and reverse the idea of Columbian discovery of America so as not to continue to mislead the public. You see that? That's what we're doing. That's why we're doing what we're doing right now. That's why we bring the history out so people can change the curriculum. Because that you keep teaching people the same thing over and over. Y'all keep putting out the same slave movies. They was brought from Africa as it's a lie. It's a lie, it's a lie, it's a lie. And y'all know it's a lie. They know it. Watch it. Let's get
facts. Most of the slaves transported during the transatlantic slave trade went to the Americas, not America. The Americas include all of the Caribbean islands and South America. That's where the black African slaves went. Jamaica, St. Lucia, Cuba, Puerto Rico, Brazil, the list goes on and on and on. But as far as America, we were, me no black poppy, me Aboriginal. Let's go. You know, we had a member in the audience, Ken, come through with yet another contribution. I appreciate the support, brother. And Ken wants us to take a look at this. Let's go. Thanks for sharing, Ken.
Talk unless he was talking about gum. Yeah. You know, I think you're not supposed to say Indian either. No way, really? Yeah. I think you're supposed to call them African Americans.
Dang, yep, that's right. They hide the truth in plain sight. A lot of media will tell you. Come on. Not Native American, homie. I mean, excuse me, not African American, homie. And y'all ain't Native American, homie. All you real light-skinned, pale-faced looking natives on the reservations nowadays. A lot of you $5 Indians that just got the citizenship bought and paid for and passed down. Okay, come on. Truth is much stranger than fiction, y'all. Let's go.
Go to a government website now. This is on the libraryofcongress.gov, okay? This is on libraryofcongress.gov, loc.gov/classroom materials.
Come on, y'all. This is on our own government's website. As European powers increasingly sought to establish long-term colonies in the Americas, increasing numbers of Africans came to these continents, often against their will. Free and enslaved Africans lived in Spanish Florida by the late 16th century. What do you mean free and enslaved? Free and enslaved. So there was free Africans in Florida in the 16th century, y'all. Did you know that? And then in 1619, a year before English pilgrims arrived at Plymouth, Massachusetts, a group of 20 and odd African people was brought to England's Jamestown colony in Virginia in captivity. Oh, Lord, let's get into it, y'all. Let's do some digging.
Immigration African Beginnings. This is on the government's website. It says, as European powers increasingly sought to establish long-term colonies in the Americas, increasing numbers of Africans came to these continents, often against their will. Free and enslaved Africans lived in Spanish Florida by the late 16th century. You see that? It says they lived in Spanish Florida, and we're going to find out exactly how many lived there too. It says free enslaved African. Like I said, when they use the term African, they're using technicalities when they say that. When they say they're using technicalities, they're talking about so-called African Americans. All right. It says they lived in Spanish Florida by the 16th century, and in 1619, a year before English pilgrims arrived at Plymouth, Massachusetts, a group of 20 and odd African people was brought to England's Jamestown colony in Virginia in captivity. You see that? So now they saying that, because remember, the story has always been that we was brought from Africa to Americas in 1619. Now they're saying there was blacks already there, and then these 20 and odd showed up. You see how the stories always change. It always.
Keep having to switch it up, y'all. They keep having to switch it up. They can't keep their story straight. Come on. Meanwhile, it was literally impossible for them to sail straight from West Africa to America. It was impossible. They had to go along South America. They had to go a long way through the Caribbean. But you telling me in the 1600s we got black folks already here? All right. I'm not black, me Aboriginal.
I told y'all in the first video of this, they have to move the goalposts. Anytime we figure something out, anytime we prove them wrong, they're going to move the goalposts and change the narrative. That's what they have to do to keep the lie going. Now, let's find out about that Spanish Florida and how many black people were actually there. All right, now this book is called Black Society in Spanish Florida by Jane Landers. All right, it says the Spaniards and their hard dealing with the English, whom they had prohibited commerce, contrary to the laws of nations, had drawn their mischief upon themselves. Making matters more treacherous, in Menendez's view, was the growing racial imbalance in the Circum-Caribbean. After 1567, he served simultaneously as governor and captain general of Cuba and Florida, and in that joint capacity, Mendez was responsible for the defense of the entire region. In alarmist tones, he informed King Philip II that Hispaniola was populated by 30,000 blacks and fewer than 2,000 Spaniards. You see,
y'all. But we aren't Aboriginal to not just America, but the Americas. Okay. All right. These white folks back in the day, they weren't lying. They didn't have a reason to. When they went somewhere and saw black folks, saw melanated folks, they had no reason to lie. It's not until recent years where they want to keep this lie going. Come on, they try to kill us off. They try to poison our water, kill off our food supply. Germ warfare, take us off that way. Trail of Tears, relocate us, try to kill us off that way through migration, and still we're here. So you know what? They got to take us to them Christian and those Catholic boarding schools and whip us and beat us and tell us to change our name, and that, hey, guess what? Your people aren't from here. You guys came on a ship from Africa. Okay.
So 30,000 blacks and fewer than 2,000 Spaniards. Where do you think these black people came from in 1567? Because these are adults that they're talking about. They're not talking about some little kids. These people range from 18 to 80 to 90 years old. These are not just some little kids. So those people been in that region. That's why so many of them. Those people been in that region, because if they came by slavery, they would have said they was brought by this person or that person. They didn't come there in slavery. They was already there. They was already there. It says while Puerto Rico had 15,000 blacks and only 500 Spaniards. You see that? Menendez claimed that the same racial disparity held true in Cuba, Veracruz, Puerto Gavalos in Honduras, Cartagena, and Venezuela. You see that? So all these black people were in all these regions already.
Come on. We ain't come here from no slave ship. We ain't come here off no boat. Let's talk about it.
Already. Before 1619, already. Okay? So that lets you know we was already here. We was already here. We was already here. Anytime they use the word, they're using technicalities when they say Africans. We are the indigenous people.
Come on, y'all. The truth is stranger than the fiction. Truth is much stranger than fiction. Thank you guys for joining. Hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Hit the Cash App or the PayPal if I've educated you in any way. I will be doing more streams on this subject. And also, I'm putting together some kind of package. I'm not sure if it's going to be a PDF. I'm not sure if I'm going to allow people to hire me personally to assist them with this. But I've spoken with so many members of our community who know that they have Native American ancestry, but don't know where to start on their path to applying for citizenship. So stay tuned, guys. I'm not sure if I'm going to start a course or a PDF or let you guys consult with me one-on-one, but either way, I'm going to create some kind of way to streamline and educate you guys on what it takes to qualify for citizenship and guide you through that process. Because I'm telling you, I spoke to a sister the other day, a couple weeks ago actually, and she said she even hired an attorney to try to help her get tribal citizenship and was still rejected. And I'm like, sister, all you got to do is trace your lineage on your father's side. You ain't got to hire no attorney. So, I want to give the folks the game. I'm figuring out the best way I can package that for you all. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. I will have something like that released to the public sooner than later. But when this broadcast ends, don't go anywhere. There will be a 10-second countdown, and then the next broadcast is going to begin. We're going to be reacting to Umar's latest confession. He finally confessed